everyone, and welcome to Sakaya, our liquor shop in Pantechnicon. My name is Eleanora, and I'm going to guide you through one of our most famous cocktails that you can make easily at home. And you will be surprised on how easy to drink it is, and especially if you have guests that are not used to whiskey or Japanese whiskey. The cocktail is called Ginko, and for this, you're going to need a Japanese whiskey. Of course, we're going to make a Japanese version, but you can use any other bourbon or whiskey of your choice. Now, I made already a brown butter version in the pan, and let's say that for a bottle of a Nikka from the bottle, in this case, which is 500 ml, we use 125 grams of butter. So we slowly cook it. We don't make it too dark because we don't want to do a black butter. We want to do a brown butter, and that's it. Now this, I would suggest to prepare it 24 hours in advance, just because it needs to freeze. We need to do what bartenders call very fancy a fat wash. Now a fat wash technique, it's a technique used by a perfumer, where they used to infuse a oily substance or a fatty substance in alcohol and then freeze it. What happens that the fat will separate from the alcohol, so it will create, I'm going to use this, that's what we're going to use today, and you can use it at home. It's a mason jar, you can find it everywhere. When we put the whole product in the freezer, it will separate, as I was mentioning before, so you will find a layer of butter just on the top, and you can scrape it off. Now there are two ways of doing this. Very naturally, you scrape the butter off, and then you're left with a darker version of your whiskey, or you can make it even clearer by using a coffee filter. This is really up to you. Now I'm going to show you the process of how to prepare the Nikka. So we open the whiskey, or any whiskey, your choice, and we pour it in the mason jar. A advice that I give you, please let the butter cool down, because we don't want to cook it further. And then we're going to pour brown butter. Another question, how do you know the brown butter is cooked? Just it's going to smell like soba, like Japanese buckwheat, so roasty notes. And that's when you know that the brown butter is ready. And it smells great. There you go, put this on the side. Now with a wooden spoon, I have a bar spoon in this case. I'm going just to stir the mixture. And that's it. So your premix is done, what we call premix, which is basically this fat wash. Now I'm going to allow it to cool down, and then I put it in the freezer. The day after, so 24 hours, you're going to see a clear layer of butter, and you can just scrub it off, okay? Now you're going to need a mixing glass, if you have it, if you are used to making cocktails at home, or any other glass that has this shape. And we're going to use brown sugar. And what we're going to need also, it's a splash of soda water or sparkling water, and Angostura bitters, as well as very common ingredients. You can find it also in any of the supermarkets here. And we're going to use, for each person, we're going to use a brown butter cubes, put it inside. And I'm going to soak it. Now to make it this easier, I'm just going to show you. You can put it in a spoon, or I'm using a bar spoon. And we need to soak it in Angostura bitter. This is why, because it needs to melt and needs to infuse nicely. Pop it inside. Here you go. And now we splash with some soda water. This will help to mix the Angostura with the sugar, and also to melt the sugar quicker. We have a muddler or anything else that you want to use to crush the sugar, and we are going to do this until the sugar is dissolved, because we don't want to have sugar bits. Now in some bars or maybe at home you might want to use sugar syrup. This is really up to you. Here you go. Now, ice cubes. What I would suggest, please top up the mixing jar up until the rim. It needs to be full because you don't want the cocktail to dilute too much. You want it to chill, but not to be diluted. So it's going to add more. And then, last thing, we're going to pour 50 ml. So this is the measure of one cocktail for one person. So you need 50 ml of your whiskey infused with brown butter. There you go. And now we're stirring. Now, most of the people ask me, for how long do I stir? It's really up to you. What I do 30 seconds or less to need the glass to be chilled. But you can always try at any point of your cocktail to make sure that it's the right flavor for you, it's what you really want to make. Try it on the palm of your hand. This is really good. Really, really good. Okay, so for the final step, you will need a rock glass, any rock glass that you have, and a rock of ice inside. Now this is really completely up to you. It's really easy to do at home, and this is what we do here. But you can use any other ice just to make the effect. And lastly, you need the Hawthorne Strainer. And then we're ready to strain our beautiful cocktail in the glass. There you go. This is the Ginko at Sakaya. Enjoy!